There's a golden window in parenting, roughly the first 10 years, when your kids believe you are the ultimate superhero. You pitch a tent, amazing. You build a fire, absolute wizardry. You cook hot dogs on a stick, culinary genius. But here's the thing, that magic doesn't last forever. Take them camping now. Make some memories without screens now, while the wilderness is still a wonderland to them. The simple act of being together is the greatest adventure of all.
I don't know what they know that.
There are a handful of camping spots within about 45 minutes of my home. Hidden gems tucked away from the crowds, untouched by the rush of the weekend warrior. These are my last-minute go-tos, the places I escape to when the walls start feeling too close and the pull of the wild gets too strong to ignore. Strangely enough, they're almost always empty, as if waiting for me, like they somehow know I'll appreciate quiet beauty. No one handed me these waypoints. No shared pens, no guidebooks, no friendly tips around a campfire. I found them the way adventure is meant to happen, the old-fashioned way. I just got out and went. Some of my absolute favorite spots, the ones that feel like well-kept secrets, weren't planned. They weren't destinations, they were discoveries. A random turn down an unfamiliar trail, a gut feeling that told me to push a little further, to crest one more ridge, to see what lay beyond. And just like that, the wilderness opened up and let me in. I first found this spot 3 years ago. It was one of those perfect evenings. The sky melting into gold, the wind carrying the scent of pine, the distant hush of a creek. Now, I've camped here plenty of times since, but this trip is different. This time I brought my kids. And as soon as the truck rolled to a stop, they tumbled out, eyes wide, feet eager. The same thrill I felt when I first stepped into this place is now clearly alive in them. Watching them dart off into the trees, laughing, exploring, making this place their own, I realize something. Some adventures are best kept quiet, just between you and the wild, but others are meant to be shared.
We made it to camp. The spot we affectionately refer to as the Waterslide Camp. And this is one of the things that I love about being close to the Ozarks is this was 100% impromptu. I actually planned on having some of my brothers come over tonight. We were going to set up the movie projector on the back porch, watch a movie, do the propane fire pit, which sounds like an absolutely awesome time. But the kids gave me the puppy dog eyes and said, "Dad, we really want to go camping." And there is going to come a day where they don't do that. I know it. I know it because there came a day where I wanted to hang out with my friends more than my parents. But it's not this day. They still think their dad is cool, very naively. So I wanted to eat it up. They said they want to go camping. I said, forget it. We're going camping. So packed up the Conqueror. Now, this is one of the reasons why I have this beast of a camper. You know, a rooftop tent with 3 kids and a dad that is anything but petite is not my idea of a good time. So that's why we got this camper. It's a great camper. And look, right in here, who do we have here? Oh, wait a second. You're doing an iPad. Isn't that against the camping rules, Bob? I don't know what I think about that. All right, you can do it for a little bit longer. I spoil them. Starlink, we are strategic with our Starlink, which, I want to show you guys. I want to show you guys something. Remind me to tell you this here in a minute. But we keep Starlink on for a little while and then shut it off. So I don't mind if they do it a little bit. But back here behind me, they went fishing and got the lure stuck in a tree. Okay, let me show you what I was talking about with my Starlink. So I'm kind of stoked about how I've got this set up. There's a lot of people that have told me they think it would be cool to have this for a trip, but it's kind of pricey. And I haven't seen many videos talking about the budget way to do Starlink, and there is a budget way to do it. So you can get a mini. I think they just dropped the price of that, but that's still $400 or $500. You can get a Gen 3, which they've now dropped the price under $200. And then they have various plans, and you can turn them on and off. So I have a Gen 3 dish right here. And what I opted to do, instead of buying the mini, is keep the Gen 3. I wanted a way that it could be mounted to the roof so I could use it when I was driving. But then in the Ozarks, as you can see, we often have a lot of tree coverage, and it's not super great for Starlink. Sometimes you need to move it away. So this is the cheapest way to do this. I kept the Gen 3 dish, got a magnetic mount off of Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description below. Super cheap. It was like $50 or something like that. It sits here. So what I did was took this cross member off my Princey rack so that this can kind of sit sandwiched in between these two bars, and it's magnetized, so it's on here good, but it's down low enough that any branches aren't gonna really cause a problem. And then when you do pop it up, I put my excess cable right there. So if I want to take this dish and move it off the truck, just pull the magnets, uncoil that cable, and I can stretch it like 50 feet or more, I think, from the truck. And then I've got this running down, wired into my second battery that I installed in the truck. Starlink doesn't really do like affiliate sales. They don't give out products for free. So the only way that you can make any sort of money by advertising Starlink is to do your friends and family link, which I'll put a QR code for that right over here. And I'll put a link down in the description. So if you do get Starlink and you want to sign up and you use that link, you'll get a month free. So depending on your plan, it can be anywhere from $50 to a couple $100 a month, depending on what you go for. But you'll get a month free of that. And then I also get a month free of it, which is pretty cool. So if you decide to get a dish, you want to go the cheap route, get you a Gen 3, get this magnetic mount, stick it to your roof, and use my link, get a free month, and help me out too. Well, the sun is starting to go down, and we brought a crazy simple dinner for tonight. We are going to do some hot dogs and some pizza flavored Pringles. If RFK has his way, we'll be outlawed soon. So get all your dyes in while you can. One quick thing I wanted to say before I start cooking is if you want to be a channel member, we're doing actually another members trip in April. And if you would like to come on that trip, I put all the information about the trip in I think it's called post section of YouTube. Used to be community, but anyways, on my channel, I put it all there. And those are unlocked when you join and become a member. So if you'd like to see that stuff, just hit that join button, pick your tier, and then you can get information about the next trip and join us. And then if the groups aren't really your thing, but you just want a list of cool campsites, that's a great way to get GPS data. All right, let's get to cooking. Throw it up on that bed for us.
I opened this video talking about my kids and why I try my best to prioritize these moments while they're young. But it's easy to paint a picture of yourself online that is far from reality. I'd like everyone to think that I'm this great dad, selfless, patient, hardworking, but the truth is, I fall short so often. Those moments, frequent as they are, aren't gonna make the cut because I don't want you guys to see that. I prefer the facade, the illusion of perfection. Don't we all? The camera doesn't show me when I disappear into my phone, when I have a short fuse, when my kids have to say my name 3 times before I give them my irritated, half-present attention. I have so many areas of my life that need to improve. Ultimately, I think the biggest difference between a good parent and a bad one is the ability to name and acknowledge your shortcomings. If you can't see it, you won't improve it. And that's a recipe for disaster. One day, you'll wake up, and instead of begging to hold your hand on a hike, your kids will be asking to go to their friend's house instead. We're already starting to see this with my oldest. And look, that's natural and a beautiful part of life. The world gets bigger for them, and eventually you become a little less central to their adventure. And that's why camping while they're young isn't just a weekend trip. It's an investment. It's a chance to be the center of their universe while they still want you there. It's staying up past bedtime under the stars, whispering stories in a sleeping bag, and watching their eyes widen as they spot their first shooting star. Look, I'm so far from perfect, and so are you. But that's not going to stop us. So take them camping now, while they're still young, and think you're the coolest person they know, because one day they're going to be grown, and we're going to miss this. Breakfast time! After a long night of rain, the sun finally peeked through the clouds, and my kiddos killed a box of honey buns. While they played off the sugar rush, I decided to take my time making the good stuff. I'm not much of a breakfast guy at camp. Sometimes it's just a splash of water in the face and a monster, but when I have time, I do love me a French press of a good brew and some oats. I go back and forth between Umpqua and Kodiak, both of which are solid. For the brew, we landed on a campfire blend by Arky Outdoors. Get yours at the link in the description. But I'm going to shut up now and do my best impression of a Chris Carroll breakfast ASMR. Just got breakfast done, chilling out for a little bit. Kids are playing. I'm sipping my coffee, which is mostly cold now, but that's how it goes. I absolutely love this camper because it allows me to basically have an office wherever we go. Now, you know, if I'm just taking like a trip, if I'm just going on a trip with Bob here, we're just going to take the truck. And if I need to do some work, I can work off the tailgate. You know, I still bring Starlink and stuff, but that rooftop tent's perfect for the two of us. If I bring Lennon, same thing, perfect. Abraham, same thing, or me and my wife. But if I want to bring a couple of my kids or our whole crew, that's really why we got this camper. Now, there's been a lot of controversy about Conqueror, this particular brand, and I wouldn't say that I could recommend this camper just because of the way they kind of entered the U.S. market. I think it was premature. So they kind of burned the bridges between them and the dealers by selling direct to consumer in addition to selling to dealers.
you know, the consumer got frustrated because they could get these massively discounted buying direct from Conqueror, but they didn't come with the electrical done. They didn't come with like the pumps working. And so they had to do a lot of the work that I think typically dealers would have taken care of. And then on top of that, when they had issues, there was no one to go to for like warranty issues or claims or repairs, because the dealers just said, nah, we're done working with them. So I love this camper. So I'm always kind of careful when I, you know, give people my opinion here. It's, you got to kind of be a DIY person, willing to do some of your own work for this particular camper to make a lot of sense. That being said, a camper in general that you could pull down trails, that's off-road capable, and you can have something like this. Dude, this is just so nice for this crazy one right here. Who's eating an oatmeal cookie at 8:30 in the morning? I'm the best dad in the world. Okay, so Lucy, here's what I was thinking we could do. I'm going to get some work done here on my computer, and I thought, you know, it started raining. We kind of had to shut down prematurely last night because of all the rain, and so the trip didn't go exactly how we had planned. So I thought what would be cool, Lucy, I thought what would be cool is, what if we showed the last camping trip, or I'm sorry, the first camping trip we did in this camper, me and you, when you were just 2 years old. Do you remember that trip? Let's cut to that right now. I'm going to do some work. You guys enjoy this first video we ever did in the UEV 490.
Designed in South Africa and originally for military use, the Conqueror UEV 490 was built to take a beating. The tank is completely constructed of metal. Its DO35 off-road hitch and hot-dipped galvanized chassis make it as flexible as it is rigid. With 33-inch mud-terrain tires, 16-inch alloy wheels, and a fully independent suspension, you can push this thing hard. Conqueror was the first manufacturer to implement air suspensions into a caravan, and the 490 continues to pave this innovative path. It uses commercial-grade airbags with bump stops. From the onboard compressor and heavy-duty shocks down to the emergency stub axle and full-size spare, there's really nowhere you can't take this. 400 watts of solar feeds two 100 amp hour AGM batteries to keep the lights, fridge, water pump, and even a TV running. And with robust rubber seals on every door and hatch, she might as well be a boat. Trust me, I tested them. The awning can open 360 degrees and include zip-on walls to close the entire fortress into some sort of jungle yurt. If you're in the market for something to pull onto a paved RV pad, this isn't for you. But if you're looking for a bit more space, maybe a base camp of sorts, and you need to get to some off-grid remote places, the good folks down in South Africa designed a solid option. A stranger once commented on one of my videos saying, "For a channel called BAKEROVERLAND, you sure feature a lot of stuff that's not overlanding." Okay, I have to admit, that's pretty funny. Now, I'm not sure if he was making a joke, stating a fact, or dealing me some passive-aggressive shade. Regardless, I took it as a compliment. I probably like driving trucks and hitting trails as much as he does, but talking about it? For me, that one gets real boring real fast. I'm after the thing behind the thing, the heart that drives the action. After all, why did any of us get into this in the first place? Are we just a bunch of weekend renters looking to burn some cash? I don't think so. If I had to guess, I'd say we're probably just really aware of that ever-pouring hourglass of time. We know our days are numbered, and that makes us seek the moments that turn into memories. You know the ones. May days, skipping rocks, sunset swims, and skinned knees. No manufactured sounds or demands. As a kid, moments like that were etched in the marble of my mind. I carry them and cherish them wherever I go. I want that for these three. Trucks and campers are fun things, but at the end of the day, they are just that. Things. The experience is the target. So for anyone who's still wondering what this channel is about, let me make it abundantly clear. You're looking at it.
All right, well, the kids convinced me to get in against my better judgment. Yes, it is too cold to be swimming right now, but I feel super refreshed now. Everyone else went back up to the camper to get warm, and Abraham is looking for crawdads. He's actually found a couple. So we're fixing to head back up to camp and get dinner made. But man, this is what it's all about. Yeah. You found one? Abraham says he found a crawdad, so let's go check it out.
Okay, what I'm doing is I'm looking for crawdads, and I still haven't picked the last rock that's right here. I'm gonna look under it. No crawdads in there. I'm gonna look under this one. No crawdads. I found a crawdad over here. He was, oh yeah, right here. I found this crawdad, still alive. I'm brave to touch his claws.
I got my wife Summer up here cooking some delicious something. I can't even remember. We talked about this last night, what we were gonna have for dinner, and I honestly can't remember. I know it involves steak, and then I stopped listening after that.
We got potatoes, sweet potatoes, onions, a little butter, a little olive oil, and a bunch of seasonings.
Sweet.
And we're gonna cook this up until it's almost done, and then add this asparagus in there.
And bread.
And then we'll cook the steaks, and we'll season up the bread, and we'll crisp up the bread on here too.
Nice.
And that'll be dinner.
Boo boo body.
Hot shower in the forest, are you kidding me?
Good morning, everybody. Had a great night last night. I just took a steaming hot shower in the middle of the National Forest, Ozark National Forest, so doesn't get much more bougie than that. Kids did great. Lucy's first trip out in a national forest with us, and she did great. So we're gonna do some breakfast. I got some coffee going, and then we'll get all packed up after that and head home. Hardly an overlanding trip. It's a one-night deal. Really, it was just more about testing out the Conqueror, but it was a great night.
Man, such great memories. That was the first trip that, you know, I think a lot of people, after they spend a decent chunk of change, they get some buyer's remorse. And I felt that until we went on that trip. And then I was just like, dude, you only get one life. You know, it's only money. So go out there and live it. Like, enjoy yourself. For me, this has been a worthwhile investment. Now, this is an expensive camper. I'm not necessarily saying everybody needs to go out and spend this amount of money on something like this. You could get by with a cheap pop-up. You don't even need a camper. You could make a minivan work. Or you could go real expensive if you wanted to, and you can get like a Sprinter or Transit or ProMaster and do a full build. For me, based off my budget and what, you know, we were kind of comfortable with as a family, this made a lot of sense. I'm also really looking forward to using this, like I said earlier, as a mobile office. I haven't gotten a chance to do a lot of that out of this camper, but I'm excited to kind of take this and basically have a computer set up in here, a sleeping setup up there. Here, I'll show you. So you can see up there, that's where one of our beds were. That's where I've got the camera set up right now that I'm talking to. But I could have that as my sleeping arrangement. And then back over here, I could have like the office set up, right? So I do like the idea of this being able to be like a comfortable place to get work done, and which should just enable traveling more, which is
ultimately why I decided to get into this. So I'm going to get back to work here. And actually, my plan is just to let the kids play today. We're not going to do any wheeling after this, and then we'll pack up and head home. No, not every trip is epic. Sometimes it's just about getting out, enjoying the outdoors, and making memories. That's what this one was. I appreciate you guys watching it. I'm going to wrap up the video right here. So thank you to our channel members. If you guys have chosen to support the channel financially, I really appreciate you guys. Throw up your names right over here. And if you're watching this and you would like to become a channel member, get access to GPS data and get group camp invites, get your names mentioned in the videos, and our Slack access, a couple other things. You can do that two ways. One, click the join button here on YouTube, or you can, if you're watching this on a TV, you can scan the QR code that I'll put up on the screen right over here. And scan that, and that will allow you to do this from your mobile phone. Join, and we've actually got a members trip coming up at the end of April. We're going to do another members trip last weekend of April. So I put all the information for that in our private Slack group, as well as here on YouTube in a members only post. You become a member, you see all that stuff. So thank you to you guys. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Really appreciate you guys partnering with the channel, supporting and making this content possible. Great companies, and I always put links to all of them down below if you're interested in learning more about any of our sponsors. But more importantly than all of that, remember, the more you camp, the less deer the aliens abduct.